My name is Heath Marrinan, and I own FadeUp Design Group. We're a lighting production company in Omaha, Nebraska. And next to me here, I have Mary Ferry, the owner of Advantage Insights, an accounting firm, and they offer a lot more services than just basic bookkeeping. And I'll let Mary go into that a little bit. The reason Mary's here today is she wrote a blog, and the blog is based on everything that we're going through right now. And we know that we've heard a lot about different ways to make it through this, PPP money and all these different programs that are out there right now. But the reason Mary wanted to come in here is not only to discuss 5 steps that she thought would be useful for people navigating their way through this, but to also address some of the changes with the PPP Flexibility Act that was passed on Friday, and to just let us know or let you know some of the ways that you can disperse your money not as quickly as you thought maybe you had to. So we thought it would be beneficial to have Mary come in here. Mary, welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience and who you are, and maybe a few of the services your company offers.
Thank you, Heath. Like Heath said, I'm Mary Ferry. I own Advantage Insights. I provide accounting services to small business owners like yourself. Our goal is really to help those business owners understand their financial information and be able to use that to make financial decisions. And like you said, we provide an array of services. We can set you up in a cloud accounting. We do payroll, we do bookkeeping, but we really focus on forecasting and budgeting, and then helping the business owner manage their financial information against that budget.
Gotcha. I know that we use several Mary's services, and it's really helped us with projections, and I even ask Mary if I can buy equipment sometimes, just because she knows my financial standing better than I do. So the blog is called How to Take Control of Your Finances in Times of Crisis. And the 5 things that Mary mentioned was balance your books, talk to your bank, overhead cost relief, craft a plan, and evaluating your books. And so why don't we just start off talking about balancing your books and the importance of that.
So balancing your books in a time of a pandemic is very, very important, because you really need to understand what you own and what your liabilities are, so that you can make informed decisions, and you can go to your banker and you can go to different service providers and you know what you're talking about. It's important to have your books balanced even when you're not in a pandemic, because really if your balance sheet isn't accurate, then your profit and loss statement isn't accurate either. So and the main thing that a balance sheet will tell you is what you own, every asset that you have, and what you owe. So the liabilities that you have to different lenders and to different government agencies.
Gotcha. How many people do you find that don't balance their books?
There are a surprisingly large number of individuals who focus primarily on their profit and loss statement and spend very little time knowing or understanding what's on their balance sheet.
Gotcha. And it's got to be hard to walk into a bank and get any of this assistance with any of these loans unless you have balanced your books and done some of these things that you talked about.
That's correct. A banker is making a decision whether or not you're a good risk, whether you have the capital and the cash flow to be able to pay back those loans. And the only way for them to do that is to have a full set of financial statements. And that includes the balance sheet, profit and loss statement, and then out of that comes a statement of cash flows.
Gotcha. So that's why, I know us, FadeUp personally, we use Mary. It's before it was I would know this piece of information and I would know this piece of information, but accounting is not what I do. I do lighting. So bringing in someone like Mary really helped just kind of pull it all together and streamline it so that I could understand it. But let's go into talking to your bank. What do you mean by talk to your bank?
So there were a lot of help that banks provided their customers when the pandemic started. For example, the SBA loan, they work through the government, and the government's actually making those payments for 6 months. That was a part of the CARES Act. Many banks have not required principal payments. They're allowing their customers just to make interest payments so that you can extend your cash flow. So really, you have to have a good relationship with your banker. And once you understand what they can do for you. You can take that information and then look at the rest of your financial information and then craft a plan on how you're going to move forward and make it through the pandemic.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know when I was working with our bank during the whole getting a PPP loan, it was a real personal experience, right? We really had to get to know our bank on another level to move it through as fast as we needed to move it through. And so I learned from this that maybe there's some things that I could do a little bit better if this should happen again. And you can't rule anything out. It's not like this is a wrap. We don't know what's going to happen yet. Mm-hmm. So I think these 5 steps are just good foundation rules to apply because who knows? This could happen again. There could be another wave. We don't know. Overhead cost relief. Tell us ways that you saw that some of your clients were able to reduce some of their overhead costs and stretch out that cash flow.
So if you take a look at all the line items in your overhead costs, you can start to see things that just personally you can make decisions and decrease some of that spend. Those are the easy ones. Some of the other subscriptions or the different service providers, you can call them, tell them the situation that you're in. Many times they're going to want to keep you as an ongoing customer, and they'll have some sort of relief for a temporary period of time. I know there were software subscriptions where when you called and explained the situation that they gave you a discount over 2 or 3 months period. So even any service provider that you work with, if you've got a good working relationship with them, they're going to want to keep you as a customer. And I know I worked with many of my clients who were hit pretty hard through this pandemic, and we worked out a situation so that they could make it through the time, and it helped their cash flows.
Yeah, we did the same thing too. We contacted a lot of people, and we were all in it together, so they were doing it for everybody. So, but it's amazing. What I found throughout this whole process is that there was a lot of tightening that I was able to do that I wasn't aware of before. It just made me take a look at everything and tighten everything down, get rid of some unnecessary things that I didn't really need. But you just kind of overlook those things. It's all just pork. You're just like, whatever, we got it. I don't want to get rid of it. But when you are tight on cash, everything goes that isn't necessary. So I totally get the overhead costs relief. What constitutes crafting a plan for you? So
you really have to think about where you want to be. You always have to think about what the end game's going to be, and you have to think about where you are today, and then you have to figure out how you can get from point A to point B. And with financial information, it's best if you can lay it out on a month-by-month basis, and you can make those decisions to think about what do I need to change, what do I need to do in order for me to get to point B. And sometimes it's as simple as looking at your aged accounts receivable, because there's cash out there. Maybe you were so busy earning money and doing new jobs and being really caught up in the art of your business that you haven't contacted some of those previous customers that maybe haven't paid. So bringing that cash in can really fill a period of time where you need that cash flow.
Gotcha. And then evaluating your books. Tell us about that.
So you need to think about what you want, how you want to use your financial information, how you want to make decisions, how you make decisions with your business, whether it's a combination of financial information and statistical information, and how you want to use that information together to make decisions. So is it set up correctly? Does it tell you the information that you need? Can you find easily the information that you need? Do you understand on a monthly basis how well you're doing or what you need to change? That's
all crucial stuff too. It's like if you just don't have that basic information, you can't even barely operate, or you're just running on luck. That's what I would say, because you don't really know what's going on. And I know the first few years I ran my company, I just kind of was winging it. But then as time went on, I was able to tighten it up with you. So I'll tell you what, let's talk a little bit about what happened on Friday with PPP, the changes. You know, everybody's been so worried about getting it in 8 weeks. And 75% was supposed to go to payroll, 25% could be used for other things, rent, whatever. What changed?
So, like anything, I think the government put out a plan. They thought in 8 weeks things would be caught up, people would be back to normal, they would be working again, they would have all of their employees hired. But as time went on, they realized that that wasn't the case. There were a lot of industries that they weren't able to hire their employees back. A lot of the restrictions in the PPP said you had to bring back full staff in order to get relief. They realized that that's not possible with some of the industries, especially with the event industry. A lot of shows are canceled, a lot of events are canceled through the summer and even into the fall. And so with that, people aren't able to bring back all of their employees. So the changes that went in with the PPP Flexibility Act, they increased that time frame from 8 weeks to 24 weeks so that people would have time to spend those funds without ending up with a loan at the end of the day, because that wasn't really the intent. I don't believe that was the intent of the PPP loan. They also changed the rules around hiring the people back, and they extended that time frame. So the business owner has to show that they, in good faith, tried to hire back, or they didn't have enough business in order to bring it back. And they've extended that time period. It won't stop at the end of June. It'll stop now on December 31st.
So is that for, you know, I guess the way, when I first heard that, I thought, well, is that just for new people getting PPP loans? That's retroactive. That covers me. That covers anybody that has one. Now we don't have to worry about spending it all in 8 weeks.
That's
it's
correct.
Everybody.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
So it's retroactive to everybody who began to get their funds in April, and they can make a choice. You can select to continue with the 8 weeks, or you can elect the 24 weeks.
Gotcha. Boy, that would have been nice to know
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
That's correct.
So,
because decisions were made based on the knowledge of it being an 8-week spend, and people paid employees for hours. Sometimes they didn't even work in order to get through those funds.
I know those people. I know some of those people that they didn't have to go to work because they needed to.
Right. And things didn't turn around, and now they have to make different decisions. Because some of those funds will run out very shortly.
Right.
So
I've even heard stories of another bailout, another PPP, at least in the events industry. That's what they're pushing for is, maybe up to two more. But we'll see if that happens.
Right.
If I was, what is something that you could offer a person? If I was coming to you and I didn't have a bookkeeper, what would you tell me? What would be your sales pitch to me to have you, be on your team? What do you offer for the people that are watching this that maybe don't have somebody already in their corner handling their finances? What is it that you would do to make and simplify a person's life?
So the first thing we always do is do what I call a financial systems health check. So basically, I take a look at your books, and I do an evaluation, and I provide a report back. And then we sit down together and we walk through it. That way we're both on the same page, and we have an understanding of what I'm seeing, and maybe uncover some things that you didn't even know. And then together we can put together a plan on what's going to meet your needs in the future. And so every service that we provide to our clients is customized based on that client's needs.
Gotcha. So, and the costs vary.
And the costs vary. That's
Gotcha.
right. Some customers have lots and lots and lots of transactions and a lot of credit card sales and things like that. And some clients have fewer, larger sales. And so it's all depending upon the operation of that business.
What's a health check cost?
So a health check is $297. But if you choose to go forward with an ongoing monthly service, that $297 is refunded in full.
Just applied to
The first whether
period.
it's a cleanup service or your first month of bookkeeping service or through your advisory services.
Gotcha. Well, you know what? One thing that I think we could end on here is some information you sent me that came out from PPP loan forgiveness frequently asked questions. And this is something that you received and you sent it to me. But I will just let you look at this and see if there's anything on there that you think maybe something that the viewers would want to know.
Yep. So every bank has a little bit different process for the loan forgiveness, but look out. Your bank should be reaching out to you, helping you understand when is the right time to apply for the loan forgiveness, what you should provide, what sort of documentation that you should have, and when you can apply. And so I would just recommend that if you have a PPP loan, if you haven't received anything from your bank, kind of as a notifier, because many of the 8-week periods are starting to come up, and they want to let you know that right now they don't want you to apply for loan forgiveness. You need to wait because of the new law that was passed. And so reach out to your banker. Again, you should have a good working relationship with your bank or with the accounting firm that's helping you through the PPP loans.
Gotcha. So something I watched today, I was watching a different webinar, and they had mentioned that the loan may be forgiven in part or in whole. And they're discussing that any amount borrowed under $150,000 will just be forgiven. Right, so that's what they had mentioned in the webinar. They also said that gig workers, self-employed people, 1099 workers are eligible, and that there's still about $130 billion still available. But as of right now, they're not going to do any more money. So if you did want to do a loan, this would be the time to get it because they're on their last $130 billion. And most the 67.3% of all loans were for $50,000 or less. So a lot of small businesses, a lot of people were getting these loans. And I just felt like that would be, that's important to say, because if you think you're too small to go and get some help, you're not. You know, you can go in there, most of these loans for $50,000 or less. So if you need help, you should go get it. You should figure out what your financial situation is. Someone like Mary can help you do these things so that you can even walk into a bank and be able to ask for the help you need and have the information that the bank is going to ask you to have. And that's why I thought it was good to have Mary come in today and to discuss this and to just kind of give us a little bit of guidance, not only on what has been happening, but on the changes that have happened just in the last 7 days. So, Mary, I thank you for coming in and sharing your knowledge with us. And I hope that I don't need you on any more of this stuff, but if I do, it's good to know you're there, and so I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, everybody.